This is the Wrestling for Life Network. This is another live stream. We are here for TNA Impact tonight. We got a new TNA World Champion in Trick Williams. We got some matches going down, titles being defended tonight. It is going to be a great show. This is the Wrestling for Life Network, and this is another live stream. What up, everyone? This is the Wrestling for Life Network. This is another live stream. We are here for TNA Impact. And after the explosive weekend we had in professional wrestling regarding NXT and TNA, I think we got a lot to talk about. So I am not here alone. That is Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its YouTube tag stream champions of the world. The man who puts the T in TNA, Ringsider Anthony. I am Big Nick, and yes, it's time for another weekly episode of everyone's favorite non-alcoholic beverage, Trick NA. Yes, we got a new TNA World Champion here with Trick Williams. How you feeling about that, sir?
I'm excited. I really am excited. I was shocked, even though he wasn't my prediction, but he was like if this happens, I think it'd be a great idea. And so Trick did it. Trick won the TNA World Championship, becoming the first WWE superstar to hold a TNA title. I'm excited to see what they do next. I think this is going to be great. And as we've seen over the past couple of days, we think we know what's next, and it's definitely Mike Santana.
Well, we know we're going to get that next week on NXT. And now what do we do with Joe Hendry?
I don't know. I don't know if Joe Hendry, I've seen a lot of people say Joe Hendry needs to take a sabbatical because he's done so much for TNA and WWE over the past, 6 to 8 months. But I don't know. I don't know what we do with Joe Hendry. Maybe that's a question that is answered tonight on Impact.
Well, I know before you had mentioned, and shout out to everybody in the chat, we'll talk to you in a quick second, but because we got about 10 minutes before the show kicks off. But remember, he mentioned about how he had a shoulder injury. I don't know if that was ever confirmed, whether it was a legit injury, if it was part of an angle or anything. So maybe he just physically also needs some time off.
That could be the case. And that's a good point there. I don't know if that was ever explained, if that was storyline that he was injured or actually injured. So if he's definitely actually injured, taking some time off to heal would be best for Joe Hendry if that's the case.
Right. But yeah, still other kind of peripheral TNA news that I'll bring up real quick. I don't know if KJ talked on it last night. We definitely haven't talked about it. The rumors going around that Stephanie McMahon is going up to Monday Night Raw, Jordan Grace going up to Friday Night SmackDown, Ricky Saints going up to Friday Night SmackDown, allegedly.
Yeah, I did hear that news about all three of them. If it is true about Jordan Grace and Stephanie McMahon, then it makes sense why Jordan Grace did not win the NXT women's title on Sunday. And I think we've all said in the past that they were always kind of fast tracking Stephanie and Julia up to the main roster when they first appeared on NXT television. So that's that could be the case when it comes to Ricky Starks. That's or Ricky Saints. I'm sorry. Or when it comes to Ricky Saints, that's a little surprising because I would think that would have been given to the one who won the title this week. I can't think of his name.
Ethan Page.
Yes, Ethan Page. I would think Ethan Page would get called up before Ricky Saints does. But if that's the case, I mean, I'm surprised.
Well, do you still have Ethan Page? You kind of have him down there if he can always be a top guy and work with anybody. I know, like even Saints going up, yes, he's probably going to go up and be a kind of upper mid-card guy and everything. I could see him, like him versus LA Knight. Just in a promo, I think will be certainly entertaining. But we thought Page was going to go up for a while, and he kind of hasn't. So maybe he's staying around in NXT for a little bit. He's going to, and we don't know when they're going to move them up. So we might get a run back between Page and Saints and everything like that before then.
Yeah, that's the case. And it seems like there's this new thing going around where some of the wrestlers that are signed want to be in NXT for a period of time and it might not be long and then called up to the main roster. I've seen that rumor a little bit. So maybe this is the case with, Ricky Saints, that he only wanted to be in NXT for a certain amount of time before being called up. That could be the case of why Ethan Page hasn't been called up yet. Maybe he wanted to stick around in NXT.
Well, and I'll say this last thing before we say hi to the chat and all of that, because we got about 7-8 minutes now. Could it be that Ricky Saints right now, him in NXT, he was hot enough coming in and everything that there's not anything else left you can really do with him. You can't have him beat Oba. And if he goes and challenges Oba and loses, then you're dampening his kind of rise. Ethan Page has already been there enough that he's got some battle scars on him. He can deal with, taking it out here or there. Like, he's still got to defend now the title against Sean Legacy because he's North American title, and Sean Legacy still got a shot. See, he loses that match and then goes up. Page can take that and not lose anything. I think Saints is still hot enough and still fresh enough that him losing the title was a big enough blow. Now we'll just move him up because he can't go towards the title and lose it. And if he goes back and wins the title, now we're in just this loop.
Yeah, that could be the case as well. I didn't think about it that way. Because Ethan has taken some pretty big losses already in his NXT run, and Ricky Saints has not. So that definitely could be the case. I kind of agree with you there.
Right. But should we say hi to the peoples out there?
Yes, we should.
Clay, what up? Zach, what up? Joe, what up? Kevin, Michael, which, by the way, I'm going to halfway through that there. I still don't know if I'm fully aware of everything on it, but on the YouTubes now, they've added this whole little ranking system, so you can get your XP, your Brunisy bonus points and everything. You can compete to be the top commenter of the night and everything. But Michael, what up? John, what is up? Hashtag WFU. I'm so freaking pumped for TNA Impact tonight. Trick NA. Yeah. And now with the change from Trick being champion, it feels like TNA's got a new it shocked the system a little bit. So now it rattled some cages. People are paying a bit more attention, even more than they already were, because they did a big title change here. Now that's the guy I watch every week on NXT. And now he's on their show weekly too.
Yeah, it definitely was a little shock in the system for people that don't watch TNA. So I think, this is a really good plan of trying to get more eyes on TNA wrestling. I think this is a great idea, and I feel like this is going to come out really good on both ends for WWE and TNA. TNA needs a little bit more, but I'm excited. I think this is going to bring more eyes to the shows over the next couple of weeks.
I want to click through a few more names, but I do want to get your opinion, if not now, at least during a commercial break, with the president of TNA, of Anthem Sports, being front row center for all of this, and people that still think that WWE is just using and abusing TNA, but their president was right there front and center when they passed their title on to a WWE superstar. So I think they're in a little bit better cahoots than people want to give them credit for.
Exactly. I mean, he was there. He congratulated Trick. I think this is just all a part of the plan, to be honest.
Right. Lenny, what up? Eric, hey, Wrestling for Life buddies. Trick NA Thursday, and tonight's going to be lit. If they don't start selling Trick NA shirts, we just might have to at some point.
Exactly. I think we'll get some merch soon with that.
Right. The Eat God, what up? Cherokee, George, evening all, beautiful day here. Excited for Ali and Singh, could be best of the night. I'm not. I know. I got to look up the gentleman's. It's something saying like obviously Cherokee George just mentioned. Yeah, Raj Singh. Are you too familiar with him? Because I'm not.
I'm familiar with him a little bit. He was a singles competitor really in TNA before he joined Mustafa Ali as Campaign Singh late last year. And then once Mustafa Ali left TNA really the first time, we hadn't seen much since. So I can't say I'm super familiar with him, but I kind of know where he's been in TNA.
Okay, but so has a little bit of a history too with Ali, because I respectfully, I was like, who are you, sir?
Yes, he does have much of a history actually with Ali.
There you go. Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights. I can't read it as well as KJ. And yes, see, Boston. Yes, he caught the slip up. It happens. We're live, folks. We're live. Jerome, what up? Alexander, Wesley. Hey guys, me, Wesley Conklin. Happy Trick NA Thursday. See, we've gone from NXTNA to NXTNA to now we're Trick NA.
Yeah, now we're tricking. I like it. I like it.
Jobson, what up? Zach, what up? Vance, what up? Cooper, Austin out there on Twitch. Yes, folks, we do have the Twitch as well. We got the tubes of you, we got the Twitches, we got the Twitters, well, we got I think we might have a Blue Sky too, even. We probably have a Threads for all I know. We definitely got a TikTok and all that. So, yes, we got all the aboves. We got all the bibbles and bobbles and the gizmos and gadgets for you. And I need to breathe. You want to click on anybody?
Yeah, I'll go through if I can scroll up here and go through where you left off here. But we got Jobson, TNA. Trey saying, honestly, I feel like Ricky Saints should have been in the main roster before NXT. Jobson saying, what up to me? What up, Jobson? Dell, Stephanie back here going to Raw. Jordan Grace going to SmackDown, as we talked about that. Zach, what up? We got Life Pop Wrestler who's ready for Trick NA. I think we're all excited for Trick NA and TNA tonight. We got Jobson down here again with Let's Go Buffalo. I don't know who's playing in Buffalo tonight. Do you know anything about that, Nick? Because I don't know.
Well, no. Well, I know that the Bills are I'm going to halfway get on a soapbox here for a quick second. But the Bills are the favorite to win it all and everything come 2026 and everything.
The Super Bowl? Well, hopefully they don't.
Well, no, we're honestly, I read the article on ESPN today. We are projected. We are the favorite in every single game. We've got a Hallmark movie being shot in Buffalo around the team and everything. The Bills are going to be on Hard Knocks. Get ready to embrace some Buffalo Bills in your life, folks, because they're going to be everywhere and anywhere when it comes to the NFL season.
Well, we hope so. They are playing the Atlanta Falcons, and I do plan on somewhat attending that game. So, hopefully the Bills actually beat the Falcons.
Fair enough. Well, we still haven't even talked about all the shows coming to Atlanta, my guy. So we'll get back there too.
Yes. But we got Boston saying, I'm assuming Grace and Stephanie will be a part of the draft picks for Raw and SmackDown. I think whenever we get the draft picks, I think that'll be something that we see here. Trey saying what's good to everyone in the chat. This is a good question. Anthony, do you think we'll see AJ Styles in some of this TNA crossover stuff? I think we got a hint of it with him doing the video package this week and being the narrator. So maybe there's something down the line where AJ Styles has one last match before he calls it quits with professional wrestling.
JV, and I'm sorry, I know we've got all the names. I see Dennis, I see MDB, I see all y'all. But JV, who's normally in the chat and everything, sent me a thing of, could it be that no one in TNA can get the belt off Trick? Sorry, Mike Santana, you fail. Frankie Kazarian, you fail. Nick Nemeth, you fail. So they've got to rely on the old guard. They've got to pull back from the annals of time in TNA, and we got to get AJ Styles to, bring the title home back to TNA, and that's kind of how he potentially rides off into the sunset. If he won one for the Gipper,
I feel like that would be cool if this leads to actual WWE NXT versus TNA, where AJ Styles has to choose a side. Like, what side are you standing on? Even though we know apparently he's been in WWE longer than he ever was in TNA, but what side are you going to choose to bring the title back home? And that could be something that we see. I'm down for that if that's something that we see in the future.
Fair enough. Well, I should be getting the start of the show at any minute here.
Same.
But yeah, if we ever got like an actual TNA invasion into NXT angle, would be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's something that we have to work towards, some type of TNA invasion angle, as I finally have the start of the show.
Yes, I have the overhead shot right now, courtesy of WWE. We're getting the highlights and the replays from Battleground, folks. If you want to sync up with us, and real quick, I see you, MDB. Nick is the Buffalo Show. Absolutely. I lose my championship belt and Nick doesn't want to properly introduce your boy no more. No, I got you, my guy. But yes, right now, folks. And this was still a hell of a match of Joe Hendry versus Trick. It was such a surprise because it made sense, but you didn't exactly ever think that they'd pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, I actually said this was Trick's best match in a long time. I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but I felt like that was Trick's best match in a very long time. And the surprise of him winning the belt was epic.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's the thing is, Trick for a while his issue wasn't on the mic, it wasn't the presentation, it wasn't the push, it was all the in-ring stuff. The matches and everything never seemed to click. And this one, instead, I think now Trick feels back like a star again. He feels like Trick when he was coming out of Stand and Deliver after beating Carmelo on that super high is where we're kind of at with Trick right now again.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree with you there. And then just for a second, they started off with Matthew Raywall and Tom Hannafin all in a somber, sad mood because they don't have the TNA World Championship anymore. So I like this. They basically said reality is finally setting in that we don't have, you know, the world title with us. So I'm excited to see where this kind of goes.
You lost the biggest prize that you had. You lost it to the enemy team. Like we saw it afterwards to where like Kaz is taking shots at Joe Hendry on Twitter of you failed us, Joe. You let us down. You were supposed to do it for us and you let us down. So it's going to be interesting how TNA responds because we've seen how NXT handles all this. Now, how does TNA handle this being on the losing end?
Yeah, absolutely. I know there's a few wrestlers that came out, and I know Frankie Kazarian was one and basically said, yeah, you effed up, Joe Hendry. The Rascals made a video earlier today. They were promoting the tag team match that they're actually about to be in right now, and they were kind of upset with Joe Hendry for losing the title. So it's going to be crazy to see how they react over the next week or so.
Right. Well, and it's funny, JV pops in now. As JV, you missed it earlier. I mentioned your whole theory that you sent me out there, but and still though, TNA, we must roll on. There are other things going on here. And so folks, let us know who you got for this match, whether you got the Rascals, whether you got the System, whether you got the Aztec Warriors, or you got First Class. First Class just feels like High Rise or whatever it is now in NXT with Wesley and TNT. Just stole First Class is kind of gimmick a little bit.
A little bit. This should be a fun match as we name that number one contender. And from what I'm understanding, this match goes down at against all odds, whoever wins this. So I'm excited for this one. We need some new contenders in here since Matt and Jeff are not doing it lately.
Well, one of them couldn't make it into Canada and all that.
That is true.
But yeah, it is still interesting that we just had Under Siege and now we're going right into Against All Odds.
Yeah, it's been a while since they did the two-week turnaround for a show. I think they're trying to give enough time for Slammiversary, which is I think like the 20th of July. So they're giving it basically a month and a half for a good build towards Slammiversary, which that should be good. So I think they did the quick turnaround time because of that.
Yeah. Sean's just curious if anyone knows if Ace Austin is leaving TNA. I think we've talked about that. That's all but confirmed at this point.
He actually confirmed it himself this week on Twitter with a picture saying he's a free agent. So yes, it is confirmed that he is no longer with TNA.
There you go. William, what up? But yes, again, folks, let us know who you got for this tag match. Who do you have, sir?
I'm gonna take the safe bet here, and I'm gonna take the Rascals. Even though the Aztec Warriors would be fun, I'm gonna take the Rascals.
We got Rascals. We got First Class is missing a female presence. Who would you put with First Class?
If I was gonna put anybody with First Class, I would take Tasha Steelz away from the Order 4 and put him with First Class.
Fair.
But she's with the Order 4, so I can't see anybody else being with the First Class at this point.
Yeah, well, I'd have to go through their roster trying to do it off the top of my head because everyone's kind of already in at least some form of faction. That's TNA is heavy with the factions and groups and pairings.
They really are. And so right now it seems like Octagon Jr. is injured because he got attacked by the System. So the other tag team partner, I cannot remember his name. Laredo Kid is going to be by himself for this match.
Oh, you can't find another lucha?
I guess not. I guess not.
As I've got the System coming out right now. Thanks everyone. That sucks. I liked him in TNA. Yeah, but we talked about this, I think, a while ago, actually, of that it's very much him kind of spreading his wings. He's pretty much only been in TNA.
Yep, he's been in TNA the majority of his career. So this is a good, and he's young. I think he's like 25. So this is a good time for him to spread his wings and try to find, somewhere else he can land. Same with Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace is like 26, 27. So yeah, it's definitely time to find somewhere else to go if you can.
Right. I got the Rascals for the win. Ronan saying it's the beginning of a new era in TNA. Hassan, I vote the Aztec Warriors. Well, I don't know if you know this, but you picked the one with the man down. Well, then again, that could be a TBD that pops up at some point here. But
That is true. That is true.
Rascals. Besides Stasha Steele's that's too obvious. Well, we don't. You caught us off guard. We don't know the
I
full
don't
women's
know. I
roster
mean,
front to back.
Alicia Edwards is already within the system. There's really nobody else to think to be with them.
I'm a steal from Ring of Honor and say, give me Red Velvet. Just kid. Tony, you ain't using her.
That's true. He doesn't use anyone
Right.
at this point. I got the roster page up to see. Nobody of substance, really.
Fair enough. I'm a little worried for those women's TNA tag belts. Oh, they're done. They're dead in the water.
Yeah, I don't know what.
There's no division.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with them at this point. So, we shall see. I don't know.
Right? Was Octagon written off? Yes, he was. He was attacked by a trust in the system.
Yes.
Wrestling Proud. What up? Everybody. I'm gonna go first class.
You're taking
why. I really like AJ Francis in TNA. Yeah. I wasn't a fan of him at all when he was part of Hit Row, and at times I know he can still rub people the wrong way. Pause. But as far as when it comes to TNA and getting the best out of somebody, they have done that. Like, he's done that the best here. They've gotten the best out of him. I'm fine with him being at least always a fixture as a top position in TNA, whether it be tag team, mid card, what have you.
I feel like sometimes people just don't work out the way they think it's going to work out in WWE, and they go somewhere else and it works out. And in this case, AJ Francis is worked out for him. You pretty much can say the same thing for Ash by Elegance too. It's worked out for her. So yeah, I really like him being in TNA.
Right, as you're gonna have Laredo Kid right now in control as he's getting grabbed up by Alicia, my favorite woman next to Wendy Chu and Canabry Edwards.
Oh, they're throwing Alicia out, I think.
So long, farewell. Yeah. I'll be saying goodbye to you. MDB, bold take, bold strategy cotton, top dollar catapulted Joe Hendry's career, if we're being honest. No. Is Laredo on to the system on the outside here?
I think Joe Hendry was pretty much on the rise before AJ Francis. I was trying to think back a little bit. Did it help Joe Hendry? Absolutely. But I think Joe Hendry was already on the rise before AJ Francis kind of stepped on the scene. And this match is going everywhere.
Well, absolutely. It's a 4-way tag match as we've got the Rascals diving out, taking everybody. As I assume we're going to a commercial. There we go. Everybody slap hands. Jakara Jackson with first class. That's not a bad shout at all. That is, that's perfect.
Jakara Jackson in TNA as a whole would be excellent. Like, I hope she's one of the ones that signed. There's one other person I was thinking that can sign that was just recently released. Oh, I said her contract expired, but Sonya Deville would be pretty cool. Depending on where you put her, she says she's open to anything, a manager role, a wrestling role, but Sonya Deville is a good shout for TNA too.
Oh, absolutely. I think Sonya's super talented again. Either way with that. And funny how, and I can't remember the name that Jakara is going by now. I know she's changed it and everything, and it's much more towards her actual name and all that. But we do know her first match outside of WWE is going to be her versus Masha Slamovich at JCW. So JCW Jersey Championship Wrestling Championship on the line. Jakara versus Masha. So maybe that starts to kind of bridge that, build that bridge to TNA.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm actually I really want to see that match. I don't know what streaming services it's on, but I really want to see that match because Masha kind of brings the best out of everyone. And it's not like
Mm.
Jakara is not bad at all. She's really good. So that match should be fun to see.
I would assume, and I guess if it's AEW, it might be harder to find with them now. But I think with JCW, GCWs, and all of that and everything, again, hashtag not sponsored, but it's normally on Trailer, which hey, Trailer, sponsor us. Do it. We'll help you out.
Exactly.
You got room now. AEW's gone. But J Boy, what up? Jose, I see you. And again, folks, we do have the super chats, the super stickers, Mr. Quick. We got all of that. And we do even now, thanks to YouTube, they've built us in even our own leaderboard and everything. So you can, win chatter of the night and all of that if you want. But, sir, as we're in a commercial break, how do you feel about all the WWE shows heading to your area in Atlanta, Georgia?
Wow. Like Evolution, Saturday night's main event, and NXT, what is it, Great American Bash, all going to
Yes.
be here on the 12th and the 13th, or the 13th and the 14th. I think it's the 12th and the 13th. I'm excited for all the shows coming. I'm not excited for traveling downtown Atlanta because there's also another person that's going to be here for 4 days straight, and her name is Beyonce on the same weekend, down the street from the State Farm Arena. So traffic is going to be horrendous downtown. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited for Evolution. My goal is to go to Evolution. I don't know about Saturday night main event just yet, but Evolution is definitely a must.
Fair enough. All right. I don't know if I heard it correctly, but I feel like one of these events might be like in walking distance from the other and everything. But yes, I have heard, and I know we're back in action, but somebody mentioned, because there's been the whole discussion about counter booking. The IWC's word of the week is counter booking, counter programming. But WWE now essentially has to counter program against Beyonce, like you said, and no one's fucking with the Beehive. You ain't messing with none of that.
Exactly. No one's messing with the Beehive. Marta is going to be full of the Beehives, underground Atlanta. But yeah, it's just like the counter booking thing has been a big thing over the past week. And it's like, just like what you like and watch what you're going to watch that weekend. That's kind of how I feel.
Well, why do we want them to fight until then when they actually fight? You're like, no, don't do that. Stop that. Why are you doing that? I'm out here just like the guy from the Godzilla movie. Just let them fight. Go ahead. If you want this all to be competitiveness and competition, everything, again, what's the issue?
Exactly. I mean, it's been said multiple times that this is competition. So when competition happens, it becomes a problem. I think the big thing now is that came out today is I think WWE is trying to run NXT in the 2400 arena a week before AEW does their 7-show, stint there. And now that's a problem. Like everything is a problem in the IWC, and I don't understand.
We've got the match going. I don't know if I've got enough time to go into all
we can wait for another commercial break.
The issues and gripes and everything. That's the whole discussion. I don't know. I feel like but right now I've got AJ Francis and Laredo Kid, and it's still just Laredo Kid. The one is the loneliest number.
Yes, it's just Laredo Kid. No one's coming out to be his replacement partner.
Which is concerning. Like, why would you still show up, my guy? You just want to show up and get your ass whooped?
Exactly. Like they could have just made this a triple threat, a tag team match.
Why take out one partner and not the other as AJ hits the diving knee onto the outside and flips right over? That's a cool ass move for a big man. But if you're going to take out one partner and the partner that you didn't take out still going to show up in the match and you don't give them anyone else, why didn't you just take out both of them?
Exactly. Why didn't you just take out both of them? Doesn't make sense to me. And the only thing I don't like about every company I believe does it. The fatal 4-way tag team matches is not one member from each team being in the tag team. I don't get that.
I knew I liked you. I knew I liked you 100%. But yes, Jose, if I hear counter programming one more time, to the moon, Alice, to the moon. No, I have said that for the longest time, ever since I have been on the channel and everything like that. I hate if it's a triple threat, especially if it's a tag match or a 4-way tag match or anything. Why is not a member of every team in the fucking ring at a time? Why would I want to tag someone who's not on my team, who could win the match where my team doesn't, into the match? What fucking logical sense right there? That's just the basic logic of anything. Why would that make any sense?
It doesn't. It doesn't at all. And I hate it. I've hated it for a long time. As I click on this comment by Alexis, yes, it is the 2300 arena. I said the 2400 arena. I barely remember my age, so I'm surprised I was in the ballpark of that name.
I thought I heard you say it, but I didn't want to be wrong and accuse you of anything. Zachary Wentz with a knee. Could you see Priscilla Kelly, aka Gigi Dolan, in TNA with the Rascals?
That's another one that I forgot. Gigi Dolan could be excellent in. Oh shoot!
Right.
That was like a little senton there.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of a Francis landing on you there.
But yeah, Gigi Dolan would be excellent in TNA, and they compare them her with the Rascals.
This is part of though why, as AJ catches Laredo and jumping into a top rope, nothing, into goes for a chokeslam, eats a belly kick, but AJ Francis dragged Zachary Wentz to the corner, tagged himself in off of Zachary Wentz's limp arm and everything like that. What the fuck? Like, I get that that's, in the context of the rules that they've made, that works, but why would we ever have that situation?
If you just have all
someone from the team that's legally in there.
Exactly.
Yo, Trey Miguel just leaped over the top rope and hit a senton on these men so clean he landed on his feet and like he skimmed past him like a fucking rock.
Zachary Wentz just did a crossbody to Casey Navarro to the outside, and then it looks like Laredo's going to the top. Everybody flying tonight.
Oh no, because we're setting up for AJ to be the last one.
No.
I believe I can see as Lindsay goes on the outside. The only man left standing is AJ Francis.
But AJ's banned from diving, according to Joe Hendry.
But come on, AJ. I believe I can fly. Spread my wings and touch the sky.
Wait, choke slam from the top rope.
Right.
Yeah. And then not Zachary, but Trey
Miguel, blind tag. You're not the legal man. Oh, Meteor a teabag. 1, 2, 3. Trey Miguel and the Rascals win. Bro, he landed high on that Meteor, and it was just in time for tea.
So the Rascals win, and they face the Nemeths, or I think they haven't officially announced it, but I think they're calling themselves the Hollywood Heels against all odds.
The Hollywood Hunk. Or no, that's just Ryan Nemeth's shit.
Yeah,
sorry, the Hollywood Hunks wouldn't be a bad one.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad shout as a tag team.
But no, I'm probably the Heels better. But yeah, no, I should have realized that with the Nemeths versus First Class, it would have been too much pink. It would have been too much pink and heel on heel.
Right. That was a good opening match for TNA tonight.
Absolutely. As Brother Fluff Salisbury with a $5 super chat. AW should do an angle with Marina Shafir and Mox attacking Gigi Dolan to piss off Darby Allin. I see where you're going there because of ex-wife, but I mean, why do we need to go into that? The only people that are going to know that, brother, are, and I'm not trying to be Hogan, are, people who read the dirt sheets. Like, I mean, it does play. That would be the AW audience. Fuck. But Darby should just come back and just go straight to Mox and everything. We thought Darby was going to go with Mox anyways until he's decided he wanted to climb Everest. Like, I get what you're saying of it. I hate that it's something that it might actually fucking do, but it should. I don't want to see that. I don't think that would be entertaining or enjoyable to anybody.
I didn't even know. Did you say Gigi and Darby were married, or
They are ex-husband and wife.
I did not even know that. That's news to me. So
Well, and it's also their names are actually a fun little play on each other. Of I can't remember which ones exactly. One's like an old like gangster, name and everything, and the other is like a hardcore like punk name and everything. Because if you switch, it'd be Gigi Allen and Darby Dolan. So I can't remember which one is which and everything, but it's always been an interesting thing with their names. They're ex-husband and wife, but if you switch their actual current in-ring names and everything, she went back to Priscilla Kelly, but if you switch those names, they actually are real people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's neat. Didn't even know that either. Just finding out all good things tonight.
Deep thoughts and vitamin thoughts with Big Nick, I guess, as we're in a commercial break right now. Yes. The Rascals win. Brendan, what up? Vance, what up? Ad break. The Gabby chick got some chin on Tess. Oh. Why are backstage interviewers catching strays now and all that?
She got that crimson chin.
No, that is Tessa for sure. Crimson chin. Timmy was an average kid. They are exes for a reason. Yes, I'm not up here to open up people's cases or get into personal lives and everything like that. I'm here talking wrestling. I don't need to worry about your outside of the ring.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I don't know anything. Like I said, I just found out they were married at one point. So I know nothing, like always.
Well, I didn't want to say it, but you're a little, how did we get here? Troy Jasper reminds me of Abyss. Actually, that's an interesting take from Mr. Quake. Have you seen Jasper Troy? He debuted on NXT and he's, kind of hits the black hole slam, has kind of the tattered vests with the chains and everything. Like it's very much Abyss without the mask kind of vibe.
Yeah, it actually is with the dreads. And I know when he was doing LFG, he would come out with the hood on. I don't know if anybody have seen the horror movie, the angry black girl and her monster. But basically her brother passed away and she thought she could heal somebody from dying, but when he came back to life, he had that same exact outfit with the chains and the hood. And so that's where I thought he got the inspiration from. But that's kind of where I got it from. But Abyss, that's a good one too.
As during the break, Mike Santana, what did the chair say to the face?
AJ Francis.
Right? But no, as soon as that man hit the black hole slam, I was like, Abyss, and how fitting that he does that when Joseph Parks, attorney at law, I don't know if he still has his legal license, so maybe you don't credit me on that, is working backstage as an agent and everything. The former Abyss might be bringing in the newish version of an Abyss.
Exactly, the new version of Abyss. I'm trying to get behind Jasper Troy. I think he's great. I think Shiloh Hill should have won. I'm still stuck on that, but he'll come around again, and I know he'll eventually be on NXT too. But Jasper Troy first showing on NXT was fire. He really did great. So I'm excited to see where it goes next.
As I'm gonna just say, I think that there's plenty of people that didn't win LFG that are very much going to show up still in either Evolve or NXT. Like they got a lot of people out of that, and they're still going to be bringing people that didn't win into the fold.
Like Lee Laurel, she's in Evolve now. I guess that came out yesterday, but it's been making the rounds today. So yeah, definitely a lot of those talents are going to be on either Evolved or NXT. And I'm definitely excited to see where Shiloh Hill goes. But Jasper Troy, I'm excited for him.
As we've got I'm terrible. I don't know their names. I want to just call her Pink. And start singing, Pink songs. I'm coming up, so you better get this body started. Yeah, the new international signings from TNA here.
Yeah, the new signings. I think one is maybe Haley. I can't remember her last name. And then the other one might be Megan. I'm
Fact
terrible with
checkers,
names.
help us out. Help us
Yes.
out. But we've got Nick Theriot. I hope I pronounced your last name right, sir. I don't want to always just call you Canadian Nick. And yes, absolutely. The man who you've seen a time or two on this channel, Electric Boogaloo, out there with Anthony doing most of the predictions for the TNA pay-per-views and everything.
Absolutely. And Nick helped us out. It's Harley Hudson, and I was wrong, way wrong. Harley Hudson and Myler Grace, unless you spelled that wrong. I don't know. Myla Grace.
But the Kraken, shout out again, also the Kraken, another homie there, becoming a member. Absolutely, shout out my guy. Where did you say the names? I can't see the names. Click the name. Find me the names.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Right. Well, the chat keeps going up, but here we go.
Myla Grace and Harley Hudson.
Yes.
Enough.
And it looks like they might be a tag team. So I guess they're replacing Jody Threat and Danny Luna. I did hear one good theory. I did hear one good theory about a tag team returning to TNA. I did hear that Masha could drop the women's title and reform what is it with MK Ultra with Killer Kelly? I heard
she
that.
Can still do that and be no, then
I don't know how I feel about that.
But I would love to see MK Ultra back in. That's when you had an actual viable tag team, a knockouts division, tag knockouts, whatever you want to call it, in TNA, of when you had those teams involved. That's when it felt really viable. This feels like this is on life support. And
it is on life support
with WWE, and that's why I find it weird that it seems like AEW is starting to move that direction.
It's definitely on life support. I mean, Nick down here is talking about the Tonga twins coming in. That's a great shout. And the other tag team that I mentioned on stream, I believe last weekend, that showed up in TNA, they're the King Bees, and they came out and had a good showing. They're really big in the independent scene, and they came out and really had a good showing. But TNA never signed them, and it was like this is perfect.
Well, I'm honestly surprised with everything going on with WWE. And I'm going to just say Polynesians, Pacific Islanders. At this point, I can't even say Samoans or Tongans, but with how much they've leaned that way, that the Tonga twins aren't signed to WWE, when you do still have supposedly a viable women's tag division, that's the titles are held by Liv and Raquel, that you aren't trying to build up that division, baffles me a bit.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what really happened with the Tonga twins and Wow Women of Wrestling. They've been free agents for a year or so, and no one has signed them unless they just have not put themselves out there. Maybe it was something bigger that we don't know what happened with Wow.
Right. Yeah, well, that's because it was such just an abrupt ending. And it was never really, to my knowledge, put out of if anyone was released or whatever. It was just like they have parted ways.
Right.
That's never respectfully normally ends up being a good sign as to why you split.
Exactly. And I don't think we ever got a statement from Wow Women of Wrestling. I know the Tonga twins have spoken up a little bit. So it makes you wonder what really, transpired.
Right. As I've got Raj Singh coming out right now,
who is taking on Mustafa Ali, I believe.
I'm going to keep it a buck right now. You put him in a suit, and he's Crucifino's tag team. he's Crucifino without hair.
And now we got Mustafa Ali coming out. Someone said in the chat that they think this might be match of the night. I don't know. We still got some pretty they got to top the opener, and we still got the TNA International Championship on the line tonight too. So
right. But folks, let us know who you're taking, whether taking Mustafa Ali or Raj Singh of I feel like I've cursed Nick now. Of maybe I should rebrand to Canadian Nick. No, sir. No. I feel bad. Mustafa Ali for the win. Mustafa Ali. Yeah. Anthony. All right. Now this is so Nick and MDB have just become friends because now they're teaming up on you. If Anthony needs to watch Austin Powers,
it's not happening. It's not happening.
Now, why are you just dug in the sand on this? I mean, I shouldn't say that because I still don't like Wendy Chu, but yeah.
I'm not into comedy movies. I'm not big on comedy movies. So that's 99% of the reason why I'm not gonna watch Austin Powers.
And yet you're here with this bearded clown. What?
Yeah, I've never really been in comedy movies at all. The only comedy movies that I watch are Tyler Perry movies. I'm gonna just be honest. Outside of that, I don't really. I'm horror and drama filled with it when it comes to movies.
If I'll put it out there, so Nick even said this, and I'm gonna, I guess, put it out there into the ether and see what will happen. If we reach 7K subscribers tonight.
That's like 4 away.
I don't care. Tonight, we will do a members only watch party to an Austin Powers movie.
Oh, God, no.
Or at least Anthony has to reenact a scene from Austin Powers. MDB, as by the way, we have Mustafa Ali versus Raj Singh. I'm taking Ali.
Same here, taking Ali. Nothing
I know some people took Raj Singh, but yeah. If you can handle anything with Medea, you can handle Austin Powers.
I'm good. I'm good on Austin Powers. I can tell you.
You heard it here first, folks. Anthony doesn't like British people.
I saw the trailer and turned it off like 30 seconds and I said, nah, this is not for me. I'm good.
I don't want to get bogged in the weeds with Austin Powers, but when a problem comes along, you must zip it good. See, I get that reference. They get that reference. You don't because you haven't watched the movie, so.
I sure haven't, and I don't. See, at least Dawn agrees with me. She's not a fan of Austin Powers at all. She's probably even watched it. So, you know.
Well, what if I told you that there was an Austin Powers movie with Beyonce in it? Would that sell you on it?
Well, I don't even listen to her music.
That wouldn't sell you.
And I know she's in like the third one, right? I think.
Yes, second or third one.
Yeah, no, that doesn't.
She's in the one with Goldmember because she plays Foxy or whatever. Yeah. Your contributions will not be forgotten. Do you hate happiness, Anthony?
I do not hate happiness. I just like to be scared. That's it.
Oh, where was it? Anthony's getting the Clockwork Orange treatment. Absolutely. You will sit down. Foxy Cleopatra. Thank you. You will enjoy this. Why do you not like Dr. Evil? Daddy wasn't there. Nice to know you. Nice to know you. It's so crazy to me that you haven't seen it, and you were a child of the 90s, and it just felt like that was that and like Scary Movie that was in that kind of era and like mold of like, did you not watch any Scary Movie either?
Oh, I've seen the Scary Movies because I was actually scared of them when I was a child. So they weren't funny until I got to know.
You were scared of like Scary Movie 3 with the dude of what's up? What's up? What's up?
I was terrified of anything that was remotely scary as a child. Now, as I've gotten over, I've rewatched it. And I'm like, this is actually kind of stupid. But yes, as a child, the Scream mask scared me. So even when it was in the movies, like the scary movies, it freaked me out.
Fair enough, but no, that's funny to me. Of respect, those movies were comedies and parodies, and you're like, I can't deal with the ghost face. What's up? It's in my nightmares.
Oh, the Great Hands then took out Raj Singh here.
Yes. So, by the way, Ali won, and he kind of got into it there with a bit with Tasha Steele, so she's kind of almost might feel like she might break away here because she's getting, piss poor treatment.
Yeah, and I think last week was it last week when Mustafa Ali pushed Tasha Steele away? So there's kind of some animosity there between the two. I think she was trying to pull Mustafa Ali off of someone, and he pushed her away. So yeah.
Yeah, well, and tonight he kind of grabbed her up by the back of the head,
Did the same thing.
and I'm like, oh, whoa. But I've got the Santinos, the Gianchinas, backstage right now.
And I think this is the first time in TNA history where a daughter and father team up in a wrestling match. So this is entertaining.
The Hogans didn't do that?
Brooke and Hulk Hogan?
Oh.
I don't think so. I'm gonna look on the TNA page just to make sure.
I was gonna say that's the only other instance that could have happened. So
could have happened. Well, they don't mention it on the TNA website, but I did see it on TNA's Twitter page, I think.
Fair enough. Well, we know that they're always completely honest with history, right? Ali abusing Tasha now as Jimmy Corderas is showing up on TNA. Is he going to officiate this match?
I guess so.
Father-daughter tag match is fun. I don't want to know about your browser history. Dennis, Auntie, I'm with you. I'd rather watch a horror movie. Well, James, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Well, we got an injury report. Is this going to be about Joe Hendry?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, Tessa had, so because of her slap from Ariana Grace, her injury is TMJ, which is, I could try and halfway make a joke about that, but she's day-to-day. Octagon Jr.'s got an upper body injury. He's also day-to-day. This is, I haven't seen a wrestling company do this before.
I made a joke about the TMJ in my head, but it's not allowed to be said on stream.
That's fine. I think we both got around there. Yeah. Oh, we for Macklin with the fractured skull fracture. He's cleared. How are you cleared from a skull fracture? How are you cleared this fast from a skull fracture?
And it is true that he's actually
How have you had your skull fractured? We have face slaps that are day to day, but you had a skull fracture and you are cleared.
And it is true that he actually fractured his skull because there was a video of him and Deanna in the doctor's office and his head was taped up. So I guess
because I can't go to the medical facility and put a fucking
bunch of true. That's true too. That could happen that way too. That could happen that way too.
A skull fracture that keeps you out of a match. Like, think about this: a skull fracture, your skull, your cranium fractured. And like in 2 weeks' time, just you're right as rain to be taking pile drivers and DDTs.
Some of your brain is oozing out that fracture.
Right. It just stick it back in there. But we are on a commercial break, and I stalled enough so I can get Nick's comment in here because I'm interested to see this. As shout out to everyone in the chat. Again, we do have the super chats. Jimmy, I see you. But Nick Anthony saying, Anthony, what is your favorite movie or favorite horror movie?
That is easily The Conjuring. Any movie in the Conjuring universe, I freaking love. Annabelle, The Nun, the final Conjuring that's coming out this year, which the trailer freaked me out in a good way. I'm a huge fan of The Conjuring.
So are you supernatural horror or are you slasher, all of that?
I'm more supernatural horror. I like slasher. Don't get me wrong. Slasher is fun too, but yeah, I'm definitely more supernatural possession movies.
I am literally the exact opposite of you. Paranormal Activity, Conjuring, Insidious. I'm all. It doesn't appeal to me. So I'm just, you can have that. That ain't even what I'm mad at. That ain't for me. I'm a Jason Voorhees. I'm a Jigsaw. I like some slashers. I really liked Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods was good.
To where it turned everything a bit on its fucking head. But yeah, I like that with horror. There's a whole wide spectrum. As now we're going fully off the spectrum of everything.
We're on commercial break though, so that's okay.
Right.
But yeah, I'm with you though. Like I like slashers, but yeah, I'm more on the opposite with the Possession, the Conjurings, the Insidiouses, all of those movies wrapped up in one. Yeah, that's me.
Right. Well, we got some contributions. Well, Denisha, what up? I'm gonna conjure up a funny bone for Anthony. J Boys bring up Thanksgiving 2. Well, I think that's still in the works because they had the first one, which was what, Eli Roth and everything. Like, I don't go on a halfway tangent here, real quick, of like some stuff that's just gore to be gore. I'm not for that. I guess it's even the same thing of like when you watch, I'll pivot back to wrestling. When you watch deathmatch wrestling, hardcore wrestling, like I don't need to watch unnecessary violence just to see unnecessary violence.
So
still
like
tell a wrestling match in between it. Yeah.
So like the movie's Terrifier, which is like unnecessary gore. Which...
Well, like I go back to, I haven't even watched those, but like Hostel and everything like that. Again, I was more thinking because it was Eli Roth, and that's normally his kind of style of just aggressive violence just to be aggressive.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Right. Is Evil Dead 2 horror? Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that was real good. I enjoyed that one.
Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. Well, that's a funny way to go back to the action, but yeah.
As we got Ash versus I think it's Jing Li next.
Yes, but we are also going to get, I believe, an Elegance product reveal, allegedly.
Yes, allegedly, which is that next? That might be next.
Well, George the Iceman, he needs a pickaxe is more, well, he needs an ice pick, but yeah, out here. Nick, you know, it was a scary film, but not really scary. Christine, the car movie. Well, there's some, like, I'm a sucker for like Mystery Science Theater and horror. There's some horror movies that are just so bad. There's just some movies that are so bad. You gotta laugh at it. Like, well, there's one where I've seen there was The Killer Tire and shit like that. We're now getting all the fucking Winnie the Pooh's, the serial killer movies and everything.
Like we got, I think, did we get Cocaine Bear or something to that effect?
That's not a horror movie. That's
I don't
just
think it is either.
Well,
it
no,
was
that's
okay. I watched it.
Almost an action movie. That's a comedy, actually, more than anything. As I've got Elegance out here.
So I think they're saying the launch may be later. So we'll switch this over here to the Jing Li versus Ash by Elegance card here.
Fair enough. But yes, so folks, let us know who you're taking, whether you got Jing Li or Ash by Elegance.
I don't wanna bet against Ash here, but I think I'm gonna take Jing Li. She's been doing some pretty cool stuff so far.
Oh, bitch, you're gonna make me take Ash.
Well, now, this is true by Cat down here real quick. I think Horror Last Night was dynamite. Absolutely. 100% agree.
We're pulling it back to wrestling and everything. Yeah, I've got Jing Li. Now, if they're going to do a Street Fighter movie with Roman Reigns and Jason Momoa, could they not cast her?
Exactly. She would do great in a Street Fighter movie.
I've seen everyone fantasy booking Adam Scherr, Braun Strowman as goddamn Zangief.
Couldn't she be? I think I got my right characters here with Street. Nope, I don't. So I'm not gonna say it. Never mind.
Who are you gonna say? Kung Lee?
Yes.
Kung Lao? You're gonna say Kung Lao with a fucking hat, and it's Chun Li.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Chun Li, but I think is that Mortal Kombat?
No, Chun Li's
that's Street Fighter. Okay, yeah. So I was right.
You got the thighs with the thickness. I thought you were gonna say Kung Lao because she comes out with the fucking hat and everything.
Oh, that's a good shout too. That's a good shout.
Yeah, see, I know my fighting games. The only one I'm a little frail on is Tekken. My go-to horror movie has to be the one with the demon app on the phone. It was so that I love it. So bad I love it.
The demon
I
app
think
on
I
the phone.
vaguely know what you're talking about. Like, yeah.
I I kind of think I know what you're talking about. Oh,
Well,
Countdown? Is that the movie?
I
If
don't
it's
know, but
Countdown, I like that one too.
I've got Ash by Elegance and Yeling Lee going at it right now as we've got all the tornado kicks. The Scream movies, don't say that. Anthony will get mad. I'm scared. Yes, Countdown.
Yes, Countdown was good.
Oh, well, I was thinking of, wasn't there one that they almost filmed everything that it felt like everything was almost like in a Zoom call type of thing? A
Oh,
little bit.
that's friend Unfriended was a Zoom
Yeah. So
call.
see,
Unfriended
I
2.
thought app, I was there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you were in the right ballpark. Unfriended was definitely over a Zoom call or over Apple something. But yeah, you're definitely right.
Welcome to the Chapeau Show. As we're here talking horror movies as we watch TNA Midsummer, the Final Destination. I've never watched a full Final Destination movie, but I always know stay out of the way of a log truck.
Just don't watch the Final Destination movie before you hop on an airplane because I did that one time and I was kind of freaked out. So
Well, no, well, the new trailers and everything, because it's such like something that could literally happen, like just on any accident. I'm like, oh no, can't do that because it's like watching deathmatch wrestling or hardcore wrestling. I can see every chair shot go through barbed wire. I don't know what that feels like. You give a paper cut or a staple or anything, I know exactly how that feels. And
right. No, absolutely. Like, and just like you said with the truck with the logs, behind it, like when I drive down the highway and I see that, I do instantly move over. Not
right,
even gonna
you
lie.
just politely,
I'm just
not
gonna
today,
politely switch
Satan.
lanes.
Uh, but yes, we've got Ash working over because it's every bit of her name. Yay, Ling, Lee. I'm like, which do I call her? Yay? Do I call her Ling? Do I call her Lee? Which
I've
one do I
just been
do?
I've just been calling her Lee because I get tongue twisted with all those adjectives and letters together. I don't
I just want to call her Xia Lee. Well, it's at least the one that crosses over from NXT. Now that you said that, my brain's like, oh, duh, file unlocked. Just she's Xia Lee, so just call her fucking Lee because it's still Xia Lee. Lee still works.
right.
Thank you. You just gave me the fucking backwards entry into my own brain. Pause on all of that. Now we're just naming movies. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Hills Have Eyes.
Mhm.
Dawn saying we'll be on a plane in 2 weeks. Definitely will not be watching any type of Final Destination
Please
or
don't.
any other plane type movies. Nope, not nothing.
Yeah, please don't do that. Don't do that to you.
As Lee's throwing elbows. Well, does it
Ooh,
still count as a
Lee.
horror movie or comedy movie of Dale and Tucker versus Evil? That might be one of the best ones of all time because it fucking
Say that one again.
Dale and Tucker versus Evil, I believe, is what it
I,
is.
I don't think I've seen that.
That it's basically of they put a whole parody on horror movies and everything like that of that it looks like because they hang out in the swamp and they got overalls on and like you constantly think that these guys are supposed to be like the serial killers and everything like that when it's really no, they're just bum idiots that are actually trying to help people from the actual killer and all that. Yeah.
That sounds interesting. I have to
Yeah.
check that out with a laying Lee with a 2 count here. Someone said up here, I think it was Sean. Yeah, he said you should watch the movie called Terrifier. I've seen all 3. I love the Terrifier movies. They're so good.
Is this where I also mentioned that my wife has a fear of clowns, so I can't watch any movie that has clowns?
Oh, because I was gonna say, uh Oh man, Hell
Or are you
House.
talking about it? How they've got the prequel that's about to come out and everything like that?
Yes, yeah, that's
Oh
coming
yeah,
out.
don't touch me.
And if anybody's seen Hell House, those 4 movies, you talk about clowns galore. Whew, those were good movies. I enjoyed them.
Yes, yeah. Try. I have a wife who loves Halloween, as do I, but also doesn't like clowns,
Clown.
especially when you live in New England and there's a famous horror author and everything who happens to write a whole series of a book about clowns and everything named It and Pennywise. You tend to see those costumes a time or two.
It looks like Ash by Elegance for a second was trying to power up and turn into Super Saiyan 2. Um, but it looks like she might actually lose here. Actually, at the end.
I just realized because it slipped by my brain that you just made a Super Saiyan reference. And I love you because I wore Vegeta and Goku socks to work today. I am a Dragon Ball Z nerd fucking through and through. It is over 9,000. 4-star abridged is the best way to watch Dragon Ball Z. I will say that as Xia Li, Zhongwei Li, Super Kick Li picks up the win, but not Bruce Lee.
I don't know what we're doing with Lei Ying Lee next. I heard rumblings of her maybe joining Zaya Brookside. And oh no, actually, no, this is happening at Against All Odds. I'm 99% sure. Masha Slamovich versus Lei Ying Lee, which would be a really cool match.
Does it well, I almost feel like we've seen the straight up match before. Does this match need a stip or anything? And what would it be? Like this almost feels like I almost dare say I would enjoy this match more on a blood sport because you're selling both of these women up as they're legit badasses, they're legit fighters and everything. So how do you set that tone of like you got to knock a bitch out to win?
I don't know, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I think this actually may have
Is that the
happened
match
on
I'm thinking of
Bloodsport.
that had happened before?
Yeah, I think it has happened on Bloodsport. I know it hasn't happened on TNA television just yet. Um, adding a stipulation to this would be fun, absolutely. But it is official that it's happening at Against All Odds for the title, so we'll see.
I like it. I really like what TNA's done was I'm gonna keep calling her goddamn Xylee.
It's easier to call her that.
It's very easier. MDB, I'll never let you go. Cool. Nick's wedding vows. Absolutely. I will not take that pinfall for you. I will not do it. Yeah. No, Dragon Ball Z is the only one of the like 2 animes I've actually really watched. But yeah, the missus is all about that. So I mean, I gotta cross the bridge a little bit. She'll watch some wrestling with me. I gotta watch some animes with her. Nerd fandom in love.
Pretty cool, absolutely. And I've seen Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super. The only one I haven't watched is the original Dragon Ball, so I kind of need to watch that.
Oh, so and this is as we're in a commercial break, as we're believe setting up to this and everything of so, and again, we're just having nerd talk now after that during the commercial break.
We're having nerd talk, but still keeping up with the wrestling because it's keeping us interested.
Absolutely. See, we're making the connective tissue. Again, nobody out there is doing this. Again, often imitated, never replicated, never duplicated. So 100%, folks, be a friend, tell a friend. Like, share, and subscribe. And trust me, here, now I did click to the slide. I'm going all the way back to it. But yes, we are here tomorrow night, too, for Friday Night SmackDown as well, which unfortunately will stay at 3 hours. If only Dragon Ball Z had 3 hours to do on an episode instead of just hearing Goku scream and on the next episode. But so out of Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Z, rank them.
Dragon Ball GT definitely last.
Okay,
I still would do Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT. The only reason I would put Super before Z is Super kind of, in a way, cut out the extraness that Dragon Ball Z had, but still Dragon Ball Z I feel like had the best complete story.
Did I hear you correctly? You put Dragon Ball Super over Dragon Ball Z.
No, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT.
Okay. Well, you started mentioning about putting things over Z and all that, and I was like, no. Like Dragon Ball Z, I would almost even put over original Dragon Ball, which if you haven't watched, I absolutely go and watch.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that. Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, to me, respectfully, I feel like what I really care about with Dragon Ball died at Z. Once Z was done, like it's been hard for me to really care. Like I'll watch bits, I've watched here's and there's, but to really get super invested in the Super and GT because they just like they went too long with it. Like Z was the peak.
Z was the peak. GT is not a part of the original manga. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yes.
And then Super, like I thought Super really has some cool elements, but it just didn't hit like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, well, and Dragon Ball Z had the longest run, and it was really at Dragon Ball's peak.
Yeah.
In the pop culture, that's when even stuff like Toonami, that's when going outwards to it of when Sailor Moon and Toonami, Adult Swim. Trust me, like I said, you should be friends with my wife because you would hit it up because she's absolutely all about the animes and everything, But that's when it was at its peak, and now it's kind of in that 2018 Vince McMahon era of wrestling. It's just kind of not really doing so hot. It's a little overbooked. It's a little super saturated. It's a little you can have that. I don't want to watch that.
No, I kind of agree with you there. And they do have that new Dragon Ball show out that's on Netflix. I haven't even started watching it yet because I'm waiting for the English dub because I'm not reading subtitles. But yeah,
I'm still gonna say this, and I will say this as we're back in action. We're commercial breaks, but I might take a pause here real quick.
Yes, sir.
As the CJ boy mentioned King of Hill, but I do love this from Nick. I'm gonna go cry in the corner because of SmackDown news. Cries in filler matches. I love that. But now I entirely forgot where I was going with everything. Damn it all.
I can't even pull you back into where you were
That's
going.
fine. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I just went off into the fucking force there. But yeah. As we're getting the replay from Mike Santana and Trick Williams from NXT here. But yeah, no, I'm gonna go see a man. I'm gonna go and try and have a sensu bean. There, I can say words now. I'm gonna go try and have a sensu bean so I can remember what the fuck I was trying to say here. I'll be right back.
I like that. As Nick takes his pause here, we are back with TNA where they just showed the video package of Mike Santana and Trick Williams' War of Words from this week's episode of NXT. And then next Tuesday on NXT, Trick Williams takes on Mike Santana for the TNA World Championship, which should be exciting. And now we got a video package of Trick Williams. So let's see what he has to say. So he said he should have been here tonight. Trick Williams has standards, but as we know, this was filmed before Battleground. I think that was Sunday, right? Battleground. So he said there was no hotels in sight. His entourage was not feeling it. And he feels bad that he's not there. And he says, speaking of Mike Santana, you better back up before you get jacked up. Don't step in his face again. And he says she's going to show up when and where to show his title, to defend his title. This is actually a really cool promo by Trick Williams here. Okay, okay. As Trick Williams has kind of laid the law down here, and we got Mans Warner coming out for his match. How do you get to see TNA? What channel? TNA is on Access TV, and TNA is also on the TNA Plus app. It's $9.99 per month. That is how I watch TNA, is on the TNA Plus app, because I do not have Access TV. I'm gonna go through the chat here for a minute. The only filler matches I see on SmackDown is the women's mid card tag team scene. Could be the case. Definitely could be the case. As Jobson says, Access TV or TNA Plus for TNA Impact, where you can watch it at. MDB, did you know I made a song about Austin Powers and Stone Cold? No, I did not know that, and I don't potentially care, because I'm not gonna watch Austin Powers. A Jobson down here says, whoop that trick. As we got Mance Warner fighting some local talent potentially here. So the commentators are basically talking about the TNA championship being on a WWE contracted wrestler. So seems like they're kind of upset about that on commentary. Ken is asking, do you think Santana gets the title down the road? Absolutely. I don't know if I feel like next Tuesday is too short, and I feel like if Joe Hendry's going to be still involved with the world title picture in TNA, I feel like maybe something's going to happen with that. I feel Santana is winning the title at Slammiversary, which is TNA's next big pay-per-view. That goes down in July. So that's when he wins the title, I feel. Trick getting better on the mic. He's more interesting heel than babyface. That is actually when I started to come around him over the past couple of months, seeing what he's been doing as a heel, or even he's kind of in that in between. I think the word there is tweener. It's been pretty fun too. And that match at Battleground I thought was really fun. So I'm in agreement with you there. I've been really coming around with Trick right now. TNA needs a better TV deal, absolutely, and I feel like that is in the works, potentially by the end of the year. But I know TNA is in talks of expanding and trying to get a bigger TV deal in the USA. So it's coming. It's definitely coming. As Mance Warner is in control of this match, I still don't know who he's facing, because I missed the announcement of who he was. So Mance Warner basically in complete control of this match, and still I don't know who he's facing. That's bad. Denisha, Anthony, I enjoyed Mike Santana on Tuesday, but Mike needs to win at Against All Odds. Mike Santana was golden on Tuesday. He's always been so fun on the mic. His match against I can't remember his name. I'm telling y'all, I'm so bad with names. But his match on Tuesday was fun. It was really good, and he showed what he can do. As Mance Warner wins this match, gets the pin. But we don't know what's happening at Against All Odds yet with Mike Santana, so I don't know where he's going to be. He did attack someone earlier, AJ Francis, earlier in the night on this episode of TNA. So he may be facing AJ Francis at Against All Odds. And if he does need to win. Jobson, free Deonna Purrazzo. Please don't get me on a Deonna Purrazzo rant. Shout out to Deonna Purrazzo, who liked my tweet literally like 15 minutes before we got on stream. But yes, Deonna Purrazzo needs to be utilized more in AEW. She is not, and seeing her in her tweets over the past couple of days, we need Deonna Purrazzo in in AEW or back in TNA wrestling as champ, as she called herself at one point. So we definitely need to free Deonna Purrazzo there. There's a lot of Austin Powers talk in the chat. We will not be clicking on those comments. As Trey says, Tavian Heights, yes, it was Tavian Heights that did face Mike Santana at NXT this past week, and like I said, that was a phenomenal match by both parties. And Mike Santana is really top tier talent in TNA. So we'll see what happens next there. So we got Mance Warner. He won his match against local talent. We are now in a recap of Zaya Brookside versus Rosemary. And if anybody saw the Under Siege pre-show, Zaya Brookside snapped and she basically beat Rosemary with a belt, which I feel like leads to a strap match, but I don't know. I'm not the booker, but if I was booking it, I would put it and I will put these two in a strap match. Anything they are buried Deonna. Yeah, they have buried Deonna, and it's sad. Just like, yeah, I really like Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter is one of the best in AEW. But yeah, Deonna is just. I think the what I've seen in articles is Deanna's last Collision match was in January. Deanna's last Dynamite match was in February, and in just like 2 days, we will be in June. That's a problem. That's a problem. But yes, Zaya Brookside, she snapped at Under Siege, and she just was taking out security, the referee, Rosemary. I don't know where we go here from Brookside. I really like her though. She's a fun knockout to watch in the knockouts division. As we go to a video package of Rosemary. And basically Rosemary had been trying to get Zaya Brookside to crack and to break and to snap, and she finally did at Under Siege, and that's kind of what she's talking about here at the moment. I don't know what that is, but it's kind of funny, even though I don't know, what it is. Deonna, I believe, is in ROH Women's Pure Championship tournament, so I hope she will at least win that. I just wish ROH was not behind like a paywall and we could watch that free somewhere. But if it is free somewhere, let me know so I can see, Deonna Purrazzo wrestle and not watch her old matches on the TNA Plus app. Alan, who do you think will show up Jordan Grace tomorrow night on SmackDown? We don't know if it's official yet, if Jordan Grace will be on SmackDown. If she is, great. So I'm excited if that's where we go here. As we got Rosemary still talking about Rosemary still here talking about Zaya Brookside, which I believe she mentioned something about a last woman standing match. Y'all correct me. It was a challenge thrown out. I don't know if it was a last woman standing match or not, but let me know. Do you think a TNA talent gets a sniff at any NXT championship as part of the NXT TNA partnership, or is this TNA EW 2.0? It definitely has not been TNA EW at all this time around. I feel like both companies have gotten the better of one another. I do believe that is coming. I do believe TNA talent will get an NXT championship. I don't know which one. It could be the tag team titles. It could be because TNA definitely has a really good, strong tag team division. So it could be one of the tag team titles. One of the women could snatch up, the women's North American championship. I do believe it's coming. I have no doubt. I don't think it'll be right away after this, but I do think it's definitely coming. Anthony, they've been doing some of the ROH tapings on ROH's YouTube channel, especially when Collision is on Thursdays. All right, so I'm going to have to check that out. If Deonna Purrazzo is on the card, because if she's not, I'm not going to spend my time watching it. But if she is, I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it as TNA is in another commercial break. And we still got a few matches going down tonight. The TNA International Championship is on the line. Steve Macklin defends against Matt Cardona. And I think we still have Ariana Grace and Santino versus Tessa Blanchard and Robert Stone as Nick has returned.
It's funny because I popped in while you were looking away reading the matches. Just went to the chat and everything. Don't tell him. But yes, thankfully, Ring of Honor won't be preempted by Black Adam or anything like that. It seems, but yeah, Perazo, we hardly knew yet. She's been hardly used and just been an afterthought in AEW. I'm more excited for the upcoming match that she has in House of Glory of her versus Elektra Lopez.
Yes.
That is exciting to me. And I knew you would like that and KJ would like that for different reasons. But yeah. But I'm excited for that because her, Taya Valkyrie, for everyone that says, oh, look at how great AEW's women's division is. Yes, they're trying to start to form tag teams as every other company's women's tag team division is dying before them. And now we're going to see their singles women's division implode with Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just, I don't know. If you're building this tag team division in AEW, you have Deonna in a tag team with Taya Valkyrie, the Vendetta. Use them. It's that simple. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm starting to get really, really frustrated when it comes to Deonna.
Where are we getting a last woman standing match?
So apparently it was hinted with the promo package from Rosemary, her challenging Xia Brookside to a last woman standing match, which I would assume will go down at Against All Odds.
Well, and how do you feel as we've got the Nemesis throwing out a pitch for the Diamondbacks? Oh, wait, they were in Arizona. Was it Double or Nothing in Arizona? Counter booking, counter programming, right? Absolutely. How many people didn't buy tickets, didn't tune in to Double or Nothing because they wanted to see the Nemesis throw an opening pitch?
It's the counter booking.
It's counter booking. It's counter programming right now, folks. It's the latest trend. Get on it because it'll be gone next week.
Exactly.
But I've got the Morellas coming out right now. Not the mozzarellas, just the Morellas. But how do you feel if Xia Brookside's actually finally snapped? I know we had talked about that, and that's been the whole thing with Xia and Rosemary. That's been the crux of the story, is pulling Xia to the dark side.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fun. I probably shouldn't have been watching that match while driving to Tennessee, but I did anyway.
Well, that was a 10 IC.
And when she snapped, I kind of popped in the car. I was like, "Oh, she snapped! So
what in the fucking
what is this?
What is this? Oh, this is just a collection of people I don't fucking like.
We know
Alicia Fox, Victoria Crawford, Tessa Blanchard, Robert Stone, and Alicia Edwards. This is the ultimate faction of people I don't give a fuck about. Sorry, profanities, but yeah, no. What did Alicia Fox? All due respect, she's in her 50s and still out there just being Foxy and Roxy and all of that. She's still.
Is she in her 50s for real?
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that.
Now I gotta look.
There's no offense, but if she ain't, she looks like it.
Bro, she's 38.
She's 48? I was close.
No, she's 38. 38.
Oh no. She's 2 years older than me. Oh no. I mean, all the disrespect then. Fuck it. Double down. Bad company. See, I popped the neck. Nah, come on, dude. What did I say? What? They've got Deonna in the Ring of Honor women's pure attorney. For what that's worth, Camille is still AWOL, though, which is, well, yeah. Most of the women's division is missing in action as Jimmy Corderas is your official, like a referee whistle.
Wait, so we got a replacement ref? Is that what he's saying?
I don't. Why does Robert
Oh,
Alicia
Alicia
Edwards is
Edwards.
the other official?
Nick's favorite person, Alicia Edwards.
She's somehow she's only like third on the people I dislike in this group right now. Why does Robert Stone look like he's the R in an M&M? With that whole when you had Mercury and Nitro coming out, like why are we getting Robbie E, Robbie Z, all of that?
Right. Oh, he just banned the Cobra.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. No one bans the Cobra. Well, who the fuck gives this man the authority to do this?
I don't know. We have not figured that out yet.
This is like if I popped in and said, Anthony, you can't say anything positive about TNA. And also, you can't mention the state of Georgia or the city of Atlanta. Like, what the fuck? What authority do I have to say that?
Exactly. Then what do I talk about?
No horror movies or Dragon Ball Z for you, sir. Robert Stone looks like Goldmember right now. No, because he has hair. So it is not Tessa.
So
it
Tessa
is Robert Stone and Victoria Crawford, the 38-50-year-old, tagging with Santina Morella and Ariana Grace.
The 38-50 took me out. Yeah, I guess I thought they said Tessa was cleared for this.
They did.
They did. Okay.
Changed their mind. Yeah, we got a slide for that. Trust me, we got a slide for this. See? And it's using their graphics, folks.
And the crowd very behind Santino. But yeah, like Nick down here saying 38-50-year-old. That really took me out.
I mean, I guess I'm fucked if I'm trying to ever get Victoria on for an interview or anything like that. Well, I mean, it worked. Paul Roderick showed up because he got pissed because they compared him to elsewhere. So we'll see. I got enemies. Victoria's still fine, and you know this, man. I wasn't arguing about nothing. Sometimes you need a cougar in your life. Sometimes you want to go big cat hunting. I don't care. As Victoria and Ariana right now. And well, have you come around, sir, on Ariana? You weren't a fan of her, hadn't seen her wrestle too much. She helped kind of win back her daddy's right switch. Apparently was all for naught, but yeah.
Yeah, like I had never seen her wrestle until Under Siege, which was a really solid match from her part too. So yeah, I kind of like Ariana Grace. I like her. I've always liked her character. That's basically what I've seen. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see her in a different light here as an actual wrestler. I don't know, has she wrestled in NXT and I just missed it?
Yes, she did before and everything. Like she is very much as the Crimson Chin getting thrown out by Jimmy Corderas for grabbing the ankles too many times.
Oh, so they like you said, they thrown out Tessa.
Yeah, but so then what the fuck is Alicia doing? Why did you introduce an impartial referee for them to do fucking all? This match is fucking falling apart onto itself here. But no, Ariana Grace, she's very much, I would say, now that it's so funny seeing them paired together, she's so much like her father. She can wrestle. She can still have a solid match. She will not be a world champion. She is not the top of the card, but she works. She's a solid hand. She works as a solid comedy gimmick and everything like that. Like she will always have a place on the card, but she will never be top of the card. She will never be marquee.
Oh no, I get that. Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right here with that assessment. As Boston doesn't know how to pronounce my name or write my name, so why do we even talk?
Listen, we have Trichine non-alcoholics over here. We don't have too many domestics in this brewery section here. As Crawford with an elbow. feels so
So
weird.
while we're talking about Crawford, I should bring up some news that I saw today
Oh,
from Nick Nemeth's own mouth here. But he wants to bring Kelly to TNA, not as a wrestler, but as a manager.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody watched I think it was Border Brawl this past weekend. It was kind of like a TNA-ish event. Kelly was there acting as a manager and somewhat of a host of that event, and she was playing the heel role, and it was actually pretty fun to see her in that light. So he been talking about, talking to her about potentially coming into TNA and playing some type of heel manager, which I think would be interesting.
You put her with the Nemeth and everything like that, the Hollywood Heels, the Hollywood Blondes. I mean, if we're gonna halfway mention Evolve too, because they at least crowned a new Evolve Women's Champion. Shout out Callie Armstrong. She should fit right in right now with NXT, especially if we're gonna. They've already lost Julia. They've already lost Roxanne. If they're gonna lose Stephanie and they're also gonna lose Jordan Grace, that women's division in NXT is gonna need a little bit of a groundswell underneath it. You've got a Lash, you've got a JC, but you need some underneath. But
Yeah, you got Lash, you got JC, you got I forgot her
Fallon,
name. Fallon, you got the other one too. When she comes out, her
Jada,
yes, Jada
hi Miss
Parker.
Parker, hi Miss
Jada
Parker. You put
Parker,
some
like
fucking respect
shoot.
on Miss Parker.
I could not think of her name for anything.
Well,
But
you got
yes,
Lola Vice,
Jada
you got
Parker.
Ruka, you got Zarya, you got all this and that's and the bits and bobbles. Yeah.
Yeah, you still with potentially losing those 3 women, 4 women, you still got a stacked women's division.
Well, you've got a new women's division that has to establish itself. That's a lot
true.
of names that are talented, but they're new.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
As Santino firing up, headbutt. She and the Nemeth would rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. You get the Hollywood
Oh,
Heels and
nice
Hollywood
cross
Blondes.
body.
1, 2.
That was a really nice cross body by Grace.
Who pulled the ref out?
I think it was Stone that pulled the ref out.
It would make sense
because Ariana was getting the pin.
because the only one that was at that ringside in that position was Santino. We're gonna do. Why are we doing the rough spot now and introducing the other backup ref when we had them before? When you had part of the heel
right.
thrown out.
Oh, now Alicia comes in.
Now Alicia slides in to be the ref here. So Robert Stone moves Victoria Crawford off to get the pin on Ariana Grace.
But he wasn't even legal. So this was a hot
bullshit. Bullshit.
This was a hot bullshit.
This is bad booking. This is bad wrestling.
Yeah, that was
it doesn't matter the 3 letters in front of it. This is bad booking. This is bad wrestling.
Like someone said in the comments that that this wasn't going to be a good match, but it was going to be a comedy relief. And you might be right there, but it definitely it was a hot mess. It wasn't good at all.
This is an ulcer. This isn't a fucking, this isn't even a hot mess. This isn't comedy relief. This is, by the way, we cut to the replays from Under Siege, but we had Victoria Crawford carrying Robert Stone in a circle like he was a little baby.
Right. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. This was wild. This was a wild hot mess.
2, 3.
This was actually something, before I take my pause here, this was very interesting at Under Siege. Eric Young pinning Moose. I didn't expect that to happen at Under Siege.
Are they getting over with the TNA audience?
You talking about the Northern Armory? I think they're working their way to that. I think they were really over with Josh Alexander, but it seems like they have to rebuild themselves a little bit. I think they're starting to get over a little bit. The crowd was behind them at Under Siege, absolutely.
Right, as I got Moose and Dirty Dango popping up, and I think you might let a tango.
That
Yeah.
is true. As I take a pause here.
Moose gets pinned a lot for being champion. As I do that, there we go. Yeah, but also Moose has been very dominant as being champion and has a custom championship. I wonder if I almost wonder, and again, I can't do a poll, so let me know in the chat. Is EY in the North over more than Chase U? If we're going to start doing these NXT TNA comparables, who's more over? Down with the system. No thumbs down. Well, let the bodies hit the floor. As you were just staring in the camera. EY and Moose for the X Division title would be nonsense. Where's Leon Slater's opportunity? In due time. I feel like this is, I don't know if this is exactly, and I know I said that about 4 different ways, but if it's because hot shotting and fast tracking in certain companies has become the norm, so it set the precedent for a lot of other people. As we're getting a special Elegance product reveal coming up next as I'm in commercial. But if, the surprise super special thing and everything has become the precedent for everybody, that it's ruined when you actually have it on a regular week. But Eric Young turned babyface quick. Well, has he actually turned babyface, or are they just getting behind him? I mean, Christ, you could look at the Hurt Syndicate. The Hurt Syndicate is not supposed to be a babyface group, but they're getting cheered like they're babyfaces. Kenny was a better TNA champion than who? Trix had this for not even a full week, my guy. So how are we already jumping out the window with this? Moose versus EY against all odds. It would make sense. I mean, and it is interesting now, because if he would have done, you can't do it so close together to where last Thursday would have been Under Siege and this Thursday is against all odds. You would have had to do a whole lot of extra lifting with that. But if against all odds was set up to be the next Thursday, would it help it of standalone? And especially with the weekend that we just had in wrestling, Under Siege is a forgotten redheaded stepchild in all of that. SmackDown is more memorable than, I feel, than anything we had from Under Siege, and especially with Double or Nothing and Battleground happening. Northern Army is struggling to get over. Well, we've had, I guess, differing takes of they're either the baby faces and they're over, or they're struggling to get over. Well, Beer Money would always be over. Moose versus Eric Young for the X Division title sounds interesting, especially after Under Siege. Leon Slater will most likely get his opportunity, and the belt comes Slammiversary. Like that's an interesting point. Do you have more of your title matches where the champion's going to lose at Slammiversary? Like, if I know we get Santana versus Trick next week, we're gonna clearly have confrontations and dissertations and all of that beforehand. But if Trick's going to lose the belt to Santana, that's most likely going to happen at Slammiversary. If you're going to have Moose drop a title or anything, that's most likely going to happen at Slammiversary. Now, granted, I don't want to say and lean too heavy that with Matt Cardona versus Steve Macklin, who's fresh off a fractured skull. That's still to come. For the international championship. won't be a title change now because it's not on a pay-per-view. But yes, we're about to get the product reveal, so we had this match. We had her come out. We had everything. Why didn't we have this as lead-in before she had her match? Why are we doing this as an after the fact? But I digress. Maybe there's a run-in or something, but I'm very curious as to why we're doing this now versus before. Where the best break noses. Well, I mean, Zelina Vega broke a nose with Chelsea Green, so we can't, tit for tat my guy a little bit. Harley and Anna got busted open. Yes, they did. For a tag team division that doesn't even exist. So Heather by Elegance coming out right now. Are we oversaturated with blondes in professional wrestling, or is it just you only got so many hair choices? Yeah. We have just a random blank table. What product? Let me know in the chat right now. Craziest answer wins. And something that I can actually click on YouTube and not get in trouble. Of what product is the Elegance team about to announce here? He just won the title. All right. You got. It's not personal, my guy. Chill out. Yeah, see, chill. You don't want to get put in the box. So just woo-saw, my guy. I understand the Angry Sharks might be swimming. Think it, don't comment on it. How about that? Just woo-saw. Perfume. I would love the scent of Ass by Elegance. Who is this one? Oh, this is M by Elegance. Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. But yeah, this is one of the new signees, Anthony. Yeah, who that? Anthony will know her name and everything, but she's M by Elegance, so maybe it's Maybelline, but we're about to toast. So chin chin out there. We're toasting to whatever product reveal we've got from the Elegances here is interrupted by the new ones, the Harley Hudson and Myla Grace. So there we go. So Anthony was right. They're very much going into, yeah. Maggie Lee, this is Anthony. There you go. Yes. Mans was right of they're going to slide into the tag division. They're about to be the next Spitfire. How you doing? You can just have that. You're about to be just in the Elegance vortex. And by Elegance. Yeah. Hot dog water and the chocolate flavored starfish. Why? Ass by Elegance. A fragrance for the senses. Absolutely. 100%. It's not even just a fragrance, it's a flatulence. Yes. We understand that respect's got to be earned, so we come up and can interrupted your whole situation. We need to make an impact. But you threw this on M. Who the fuck is M? Where's Ash in all this? This is supposed to be a product reveal. Why are you throwing this on the lowest of the totem pole? You accomplished nothing. Nothing with this. Ass by by Elegance. I smell what the Ash is cooking. Willow and Stat are pretty boring now. No. Give me a Willow and Stat later match. Stat compared to this. TNA's women's division is definitely in a rebuild mode. But we didn't. What was all of that? Oh, it was a champagne with just Ash by Elegance Chardonnay, and it was just a fucking terrible, like 4x8 can put on the box, which you didn't even have Ash involved in this segment. Why didn't you have that before you had the singles match? And then you could have cut into she had the singles match. She's got to show up, interrupt. She fights them off, what have you. Like, there's just a whole lot of missed opportunities when it comes to that booking, I feel. And that was a whole lot of not good. But up next, so we still might have Trick to show up, as we've got about 20 minutes. I don't know if we've actually had Trick show up. Mansa hardly knew of. We already had that. We've got Macklin versus Cardona for the International Championship. And yeah, we've got about 20 minutes plus 24 minutes before TNA is out of here. And I'm in a commercial break, but I will remind everybody again, we are here for Friday Night SmackDown tomorrow night. We are getting kind of the last little bits. We're down to the nittiest of the gritties when it comes to these, Money in the Bank qualifier matches. You got Nia Jax, Jade Cargill, and Naomi in a qualifier. You've got Jacob Fatu, Phoenix, and Andrade in a qualifier as well. So could we see Jacob Fatu and Solo in the same Money in the Bank? Oh, tensions might be a little tight like Tiger. And also, still, I've heard that with these call-ups of like a Jordan and a Stephanie, etc., even a Ricky Saints, maybe they end up in a Money in the Bank qualifier. You bring them in that way, and then you make it an official situation, official like a referee whistle that they're on that roster, but they get into a qualifier match here. But yes, we're back at it like a jackrabbit tomorrow for Friday Night SmackDown. But we cover anything and everything when it comes to pro wrestling. Often imitated, never replicated, never duplicated. As you've seen recently, not only do we have the wrestlers pop in, we even have the companies that we're watching pop in and tune in and say hi, how you doing, and everything like that. So again, be a friend, tell a friend, spread the good gospel of wrestling out there. We're ever so close to 7K, tiptoeing on the precipice of 10K. And again, the best thing you can do, it's free, it costs you nothing. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, all of that. Ring the bell notification at the start of every match. And yeah, often imitated, never replicated, never duplicated. All right. Yes. I vote for Steve Macklin as I gotta get back to the slide. There we go. Goldberg, last match, big hand at WWE. Huh? I didn't see that little bird, Gage Goldberg there, got the same tattoo as Papa Goldberg. So, Stockholm Syndrome reigns true, but yeah. Lady B, I see your comment and I like it. I don't know if I can get away with clicking on it, but I see it, I like it, and I respect it. But yes, Lady B, shout out. As I'm getting a video package for Joe Henry right now. Alberto Lemenes. Yeah, well, anyone surprised again of that the dirt sheets were wrong about, he signed of that he's going to be with WWE and all that, and they're already advertising he's going to lose the fucking belt. We're getting the fucking rid of him here. What language was those newer girls speaking? English. Do you speak it? Would you rather have Cardona sign with one company or run around doing all promotions? Speaking of man who's been running around.
What up?
How you doing, sir? But so I guess you came back on that question of would you rather have Cardona TNA official like a referee whistle or still a vagabond, a nomad?
I don't know. I like his run doing all the promotions. I think that's pretty cool. But I know his one goal is to go back to the WWE. So maybe yeah, going back to WWE might be a thing for him. So we'll see.
Well, even if he was to say as we're getting all the advertisements for Against All Odds here.
Which is
Friday, June
throwing me
6th
off.
at 10 p.m.
Yeah, that's throwing me off that it's at 10, but hey, it is
Yeah.
what it is. But which did catch me, we are having a women's Monsters Ball match. It is Rosemary versus Zaya Brookside next week on TNA Impact.
So we thought it was the last woman standing. We're getting a Monsters Ball. Now a man in the back said everyone attack and it turned into a ballroom blitz. Ballroom blitz.
So yeah, I guess we are at the main event with Steve Macklin versus Matt Cardona for the International Championship.
But so is this the main event? Because so did I miss? I know I took a pause, and sometimes vitamins make the pages stick together. Did we get a Mance?
Yes, we got Mance and we got Trick Williams.
Goddamn, where? They fit that all in like 10 minutes?
They did. Mance's match was very short. Yeah, Mance's match was very short. He faced local talent, can't remember the gentleman's name, and then I think Trick was like right after, but Trick was like a video segment, so you know, a recorded segment.
Fair enough. But so yeah, so we're down to about 18 minutes or so, depending on entrances, of Matt Cardona versus Steve Macklin, repaired skull and all, for the International Championship. Who do you have, sir, and why?
I think it's all Steve Macklin. Steve Macklin needs to hold this belt for a minute, maybe at least until Slammiversary before he loses it, to establish this new belt as a top prize in TNA.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I guess Trick versus Elisha Against All Odds, was that announced?
Not that I know of, unless it ran through that video package there. I kind of missed it. Let me go to the TNA website.
You're good. Wrestle Rant saying, what the hell did I just watch? Nor did I know Alicia freaking Fox was still around. No, like I said, she's 38 going on 50.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I'm taking Matt Cardona because it's Matt Cardona, and the other guy just recently, the real innovator, as he's
so it's
face to face with Tommy Dreamer.
Say it again.
As I've just got Macklin right now face to face with Tommy Dreamer, with Husky Dreamer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we do have that on the screen now.
I was taking Cardona because Macklin's coming off of a fractured skull.
No, that's true.
Which is a fractured skull. So that needs some fixing. That's normally not. I've never seen someone on an IR report for a week because of a fractured skull. So I know it's very much wrestling, but you hit a Rough Rider onto a fractured skull, that shit will split like a cantaloupe.
Right, exactly. So they did announce a few matches for Against All Odds. We got Joe Hendry versus Frankie Kazarian. We got the TNA World Championship, Trick Williams or Mike Santana versus Elisha. And then Masha Slamovich versus Jing Li for the TNA Knockouts World title. 3 good matches right there.
Can I say Against All Odds is already better than Under Siege?
When it comes to the card, absolutely, yeah.
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 Well, either Trick or Mike versus Elijah, I think. And I like Trick versus Elisha. I'm a little bit country. I'm a little bit, hipping and hopping. And what was the first match you mentioned? Sorry.
Joe Hendry versus Frankie Kazarian.
Well, yeah, and that I like because maybe this starts to become like I almost want to take Kazarian in that match because he was upset that Joe lost it.
Very
and now
upset.
this become the downturn of Joe. Does Joe spiral out? And I was there, and the second I lost, you all turned your back on me, and now you hate me. And we start to get a heel Joe Hendry. We add depth to this character.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big possibility here. A big possibility.
Right. As we are underway with Macklin versus Matt Cardona for the TNA International Championship. So let us know, folks, who you got. Anthony's going Macklin. I am going Cardona. I am a Z Long Island boy, I guess. I don't know. Should Macklin be a heel again? Feel he was more uncomfortable being a heel. I don't. This is the thing that I think that's worked with Macklin, and I think it's actually worked the best right now recently with Seth Rollins. Of he never changed. All that changed was his surrounding.
Yeah, the crowd reaction.
Macklin's always been a heel or been in that in between that gray area. It all depends on who his opponent is and what the situation is as to which way he leans.
That's a perfect assessment of Steve Macklin. That's perfect. Yeah, really, it's situational with when it comes to Macklin, to be honest. And he plays both well.
He's the Moxley that can walk the gray area.
Exactly, but does it better than Moxley.
Well, yeah. Yes. Moxley tries to be that. Macklin is that. Heel Hendry, the world's not ready to believe in that. Yeah, but you better embrace that shit.
They got to do something with Joe Hendry. They got to do something, and having the roster be upset with him for losing their top prize is perfect, honestly.
As we go to commercials, so I will say this after a back body drop from Macklin or from Cardona onto Macklin. We all love Joe Hendry, all to the next and everything like that. We all believe in Joe Hendry. But what do you do now with him if he's not going to just turn around and win it back? He can't just stay happy, plucky, fucking, baby face and everything like that. And especially when the locker rooms turned on him. You even mentioned at the start of the show, the commentary was like somber fucking funeral tone of what do we do now that Joe Hendry let the TNA title go to WWE NXT. So it makes so much sense for him to, dare I say, a Cena heel turn of you all cheered for me, and the second I failed, you turned your backs on me. I'm sick of being your fucking puppet and everything like that. Like Joe Hendry can be great. We've seen it on the British independent scene and everything, and even before he was believing in anything. He can work as a heel. Now is the time if you're going to do it. If you're not going to give him time off and he comes back as the hero babyface, then you turn him heel. Those are your two options. Those are your this is your crossroads.
Yeah. This is definitely the time where you pull the trigger on at least some type of in between. If you don't go full heel, you could do an in between role with Joe Hendry. But the locker room is pissed off at him. And like Nick said, the show started off with the commentary being somber and like we lost our top prize. Who is to blame for the top prize being lost is Joe Hendry. The first person to go after him because of that is Frankie Kazarian, and everybody and their mama hates Frankie Kazarian. He calls himself the king of TNA. So I feel like this is a perfect direction to head into with Joe Hendry if he's not going to take time off or anything of that sort.
Which, though, by the way, I feel you could take time off with Joe Hendry if he goes away, and it would be a bit of a gamble. But even the heel turn's a gamble. Anything creative new with him is a gamble. He goes away for a bit, and then he comes back as the hero. Who can save TNA? Say his name, and he appears. And he takes 2-3 months off. Come into the fall and he pops up and wins. Maybe that works.
Yeah, maybe that works. Maybe that works for Joe Hendry and TNA. I can see that happening.
Right. But some moves are a lot more dangerous than others. Well, bold strategies win in chess matches. As Cardona back in control right now, as we're back in action. Got that one. Ooh. Kevin, Big Nick, and Anthony. Kevin has a question for you guys. I like that we're talking to the third person. Can I talk somehow in the fourth person? Is that possible? For you guys, do you think Jordan Grace will stay in NXT? No, we've already talked about this. She's probably all but due for a call up.
Yeah, she's definitely being called up very shortly, and if the rumors are true, she's going to the SmackDown brand. So we shall see over the next couple of weeks where Jordan Grace lands.
But do you like though that she never got a run with the NXT belt? I would have liked to have seen Jordan running court over NXT for a bit.
Even if it was short, right? Even if it was short, she could
something.
Yeah, at least she could have at least touched that title for a minute, but I don't know. I don't want to say it was a failed attempt, but like I think she should have won the title somewhere in her NXT run if she is moving up to the main roster.
Fair enough. I just realized we said everything Jonathan Gresham says in the bedroom. Even if it's a little short, you can touch the title for a little minute. But yeah. Yes, we got a 20-point lead. So yes, let's see. Let's check on the YouTube leaderboards. Well, no. Sean Reed right now in first with 175 XP. Jobson's 150. Vance, third place, 150 MDB. So yes, YouTube's built in our own even little scoreboard and leaderboard and everything.
Absolutely.
So yes, it's like a Royal Rumble every night, folks. You can fight to be who's the top commenter of the night.
Yeah, fight for that top spot or who has the top comments. It's a pretty cool feature that YouTube has added.
You will leave with the crown, folks. And we're not sponsored by DraftKings. Why doesn't DraftKings use that as a fucking tie?
Right.
I'll work up for their marketing team. But it sure be a whole lot cooler if I did. Oh, Macklin with a big ass closeout on the Cardona.
So Tom Hannafin basically just said that this is a true champion main eventing TNA tonight with the international championship. So yeah, there's some animosity there with the TNA world title being held hostage, if you want to say.
Yeah, well, Stone Cold Steve Austin would like to hold and trademark over a broken skull challenge here because this is what this feels like.
Exactly, with his fractured skull.
Yeah. Finally, the Knicks woke up tonight. Well, is it a day late and $1 short?
Right.
The Knicks just always be Knicks.
Isn't it 2-3 right now or 3-2?
No, it's 3. It was last I saw it was 3-1. If they win tonight, it's 3-2.
Oh, they have to win tonight. Okay.
Yeah, now they're in the position of win or go home. Minnesota already went home.
Right. It's 86-64. So Knicks have the lead right now.
Fair enough. As I got a good backdrop from Macklin on the Cardona. I just, on a side note, I don't want to hear shit about shit for anyone that is a diehard AW, what have you fan that wants to bring up, if we do get Indiana versus Oklahoma City in the NBA Finals, that wants to bitch about, oh, they're pulling ratings and everything. You mean the fucking Cornhuskers and shit like that are fucking pulling away from watching AEW? Those big, huge markets of Indiana and Oklahoma City? Yeah, no.
Two count by Macklin. There's a 2 count there. Comment mentioning the fractured skull.
That's you could have called it a goddamn concussion or whatever. If it ain't an actual fractured skull, don't say it's a fractured skull. That's aggressive. We were here on the prediction show about to call this match because this match was supposed to happen at Under Siege.
Right.
And the fractured skull intervened.
And then the fractured skull came in and was like, we can't have this match.
You can have that. That ain't even what I'm mad at. 1, 2 count. I would really like, though, especially even if, and I think Cardona's fully pitching it with the attire, but if you got Cardona and Chelsea as you know, the first, presidential people of wrestling, however you want to spin it, go that way of how Chelsea's already been when she's got the Secret Service and all that. Add Cardona in there as the first man. I don't know. Now the first lady, I don't know how to say the first man.
I think it's the first gentleman. I think, but yeah,
Can you call Matt Cardona a gentleman, or do you just call him a man?
I don't know. I don't know.
You can do a twisting moonsault from 500 feet up through honey, broken glass, and 3 inches of concrete and completely nail everything perfectly. Does it mean it's the move that needs to be done? I don't know exactly who was fighting you on that, but I think you won that argument.
It looks like Macklin trying to gain a little bit momentum here.
Oh, ooh. Well, that's always interesting. And then instantly into like the Shining Wizard and everything.
So you hit a headbutt with
the leg out, so you're
skull.
down on your knees, and then bam, right in the face.
You hit a headbutt with a fractured skull. Okay.
You're building my case, sir. We can take this to fucking court if we need to. I think the evidence holds enough weight here that this might be thrown out as a mistrial.
Right.
Oh, I'm prettier.
Yeah, I'm prettier.
On a fractured skull. 1, 2, 2 count. 2 count. 2 count.
This match has been fun. It has rebounded from that bad Held by Elegance segment and that other match that we will not speak of.
This match would be great if I didn't have the pre-information of a fractured skull. because this is still just on talent alone. Matt Cardona versus Steve Macklin. You booked this pre-skull fractures.
Right.
Anyone could win it. But now every time when you're taking bumps on your head, I expect to see brain matter.
Oh, Rough Rider.
Rough Rider on a win it. Win it. 1, 2, kick out. I was gonna say, what do I mean? We got 2 minutes left. We still got kill shot and maybe a Rough Rider left. Oh, pop up Mexican Canadian destroyer. Nice. Oh, try to hit it into a powerbomb. Kill shot. Do it. Kill shot. Hey, where he hits his skull into the ring post, that's really great for a fractured skull, right?
Exactly.
Crosshair, KIA? Sorry.
KIA.
1, 2, 3.
That was a fun match. He does actually have a cut on his head.
That's when they seizure. That's where they fuse the fracture together, right there.
Fuse the fracture together.
They just put the titanium plate right in there. Yeah, this man hit a Death Rider better than Moxley's ever hit it. Oh, as we go quickly the fuck off.
Quickly. They said 9:59. 9:59. They said we're done. We're cutting it off.
Yeah, but no, we're starting back over because I'm getting.
I'm getting Trick Williams the whole package again.
Yeah, but the crosshairs, I know I called it a goddamn kill shot, but the crosshairs is one of the best kind of unknown, like hidden moves in wrestling, I feel. Granted, what did you call it? The KYA or what? It's a
KIA,
Death Rider. Yeah. But that's what it is. It's the double underhook DDT. It's the Death Rider. But yeah. as Macklin retains, though. Fractured skull and all.
It looks like they're trying to replay the ending of the show because the commentators were talking when they cut the show off.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, this is what you do instead of Black Adam.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I like that. Bell. Adam, what up? Hey, we got Big Nick and Anthony. What up?
What's
Little late
up?
to the party, my God. But yeah, so we're getting the last 30 seconds or so that we didn't get initially on a replay.
Yeah, so they're trying to finish out what Tom Hannafin was saying. He was basically saying that Steve Macklin is the real champion in TNA. Oh, and then we got Mike Santana. Good.
Yeah, but this is bright in the fucking daytime. This ain't happening right now. Holy pre-recorded, Batman. See, that's this thing is you give it away when you have fucking sunlight all of a sudden at 10 o'clock at night.
Okay. Says the title's coming back home to TNA. We'll see come Tuesday.
Von Wagner?
Von Wagner.
Well, you mentioned Come Tuesday, and he's known for Come Tuesday. But yeah, absolutely, folks. That does TNA. Let us know your ratings out of 10. How you feeling tonight? And we're not finished here with this NXT TNA rivalry. Could we ever see an invasion? Could a War Games match ever happen between TNA and NXT?
That would be fun. A War Games match. I like to see it. Where do I stand with TNA tonight? Opener was good. The middle was good. The only downers was that tag team match and that the Elegance brand, whatever that was. I don't know what they were trying to do
What
there.
match you referring to?
The one with Santino and Ariana Grace. That
was all right.
Yeah, that was it had some moments, but the moments didn't outshine.
I think we gave that more moments than the match gave itself.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to see where my rating is. I know the last time we did a live stream, I was at a very, very, very low 6.5 or 6. I'm not there tonight. I'm 7.5, maybe an 8, but I'm struggling crossing that 8.
Fair enough. I mean, the resident TNA insider, so I gotta halfway take your word with it. But I was 7.5 of the Elegances. Just all of that was a miss. Do you know? I still haven't asked you, as everyone's letting us know their ratings, but I'll click through them. But do you know who M by Elegance is, or why I should care?
M by Elegance is Maggie Lee. She's a recent new signing to the Knockouts division. And they she kind of aligned herself with the Elegances, and then they kind of took her in, and now they've rebranded her to M by Elegance.
Why was Ash not out there? If her little brand release of
I don't know
Campania, yeah, why wasn't she there?
I think that's what the weird part about it. That was a little weird. Why was she not out there?
But that's why to me you do that and then you go into the match. If there was just
I think they should have had
doing well. There's a lot going on well with TNA of you just need to plot it out a little bit better.
They gotta do a little polishing, if you want to say that. I think the reveal should have been before the match with Ash, so you can have Ash out there in the meantime. And then Ash took the L to Xia Li or Lei Ying Li. So yeah.
As Tony, what up? Good opening, good man. The middle was bad. I don't know how to give that a rating, but you're not fully wrong. Eric with an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, solid 8 out of 10, exceeded expectations.
I like that.
Nah, seven and a half. Like I'll meet you fully at a 7.5 with
Yeah, I'm
this.
definitely at a 7.5, but whatever Sean's expectations was, they met him, so he's cool with an 8.
Yeah, but if the bar's low, cool. But yeah, I sat there and had to ask you, did we have Trick? Did we have Mans? I had whole segments that were advertised, and I had to ask you if they happened or not.
Yeah, you definitely missed him. The Trick segment was really good. I really enjoyed that Trick segment.
7.5 out of 10. Trick Williams defends his newly won TNA World Championship against Mike Santana this Tuesday on NXT. So absolutely, if you ain't gonna even be here for SmackDown or Monday Night Raw, you need to be here for NXT, where we got Santana going at Trick for the TNA title. Absolutely, be a friend, tell a friend, all that. But we got you on all the wrestlers. Xia Li versus Dana was fine. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, if it was fine. Anthony growing in the Dimebag Daryl beard. I already like that better than yesterday's Dynamite looking sharp. So already Adam out here, already a fan of your beard more than he was of Dynamite yesterday.
Well, thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. Dynamite was not good. We can all agree on that.
It's overbooked. That's the thing. It is overbooked. And that's even kind of come out of, apparently there's some people internally within AW, and we even saw them show up in our streams and say hi, how you doing, and tune along and everything like that. So shout out. But they're overbooked. They're overlong. They overstay their welcome a little bit. Sometimes you do a little too much.
Yeah, sometimes less is better. Sometimes less is definitely better.
The story of my life. That'll be my autobiography. Sometimes less is better. As Andrea, what up? Boston, shout out. Anthony, again.
Right this time.
Again, we have non-alcoholics beers out here with the Trick NA. I don't know if we've got too much of a domestic situation selection, but you all might need to figure that out. But how you feeling, sir, right now, the state of NXTNA, Trick NA, NXTNA, what have you?
I think we're in a good spot. I think we're in a good space. I like how they TNA played a lot into it tonight. Especially with the somber start of the show and commentary, really hitting heavy on we don't have the TNA World Championship right now. So I really like it. And the next week we'll really tell what happens. We got the Mike Santana match on NXT. Then we don't know, if he wins, he may face Elijah at Against All Odds, or it could be Trick. So I'm excited. I really am excited for what they're doing here.
Is it a bold statement to say that NXT and TNA are the hottest brands right now in wrestling?
I think so. I think that's a fair statement for both brands. They've really spiced things up a little bit in the wrestling world and has gotten people shocked over the past couple of days.
Yeah, I didn't say best, but they've drawn the most attention. They've got the most people talking about all of that. But
yeah, absolutely.
Speaking, if I can say words, speaking of people talking, you got any more words you need to say as I can't say the words?
No, I think I'm pretty talked out. I think we talked about everything tonight, right?
Right. But yes, as any final thoughts, leave them in the chat. But yes, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is all authentic. When you're talking about that wrestling, you're able to put that for life with it.
Be back for SmackDown tomorrow. See you guys on the flip side.